Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Chant A Psalm A. Let's get intimate today with the psalm. We're going to get nice and cozy. It's a powerful one today. Thank you so much for joining Chant A Psalm. This is the Songs of Adulation. Thank you for liking the video. Greetings and welcome to Chant A Psalm A Day. We are here again. We're giving thanks. It's a beautiful day. We're breathing and alive. We are thankful. I hope you are, because I am. I'm thankful for this day, to learn about myself, to learn how to love myself even more every day. Thank you so much for joining Chant A Psalm A Day. Here we are. Yes, this is the sounds of the Nyabinge chanting in the background. Beautiful. It's an angelic sound. Beautiful. Yes, I love that. Welcome to Chant A Psalm A Day, everyone. Thank you for joining and thank you for liking this video. Thank you for subscribing. I had a subscriber yesterday. Thanks for subscribing. I want to get 1,000 subscribers. This is going to be really amazing to see happening because we're sharing the love and kindness, and oftentimes that can be a challenge in our humanness, you know. So I always like to start off with, give thanks for the ability to breathe, the ability to know the power of looking within and finding within all of the answers that you've been searching for without. Okay, this platform is a platform for sharing goodness and mercy and compassion and love. And oftentimes I don't get a lot of viewers, but it's okay because I get to share with who needs to hear it. And when you're here, you need to hear it. Okay? So thanks for joining. Danestani. Thanks, Brett. The country I am in the country of the earth, the planet Earth. And tell me what country you are in, Brett. Where are you all watching from? Because I am on the eastern side of the country. And I am happy that you asked that question, because that reminds me to ask everyone, where are they watching from? I get people watching from Pakistan. I get people watching from South Africa. I get people from all over, from India. So all the way from Jersey. Hey, Brett, from New Jersey. You're on the Eastern Shore. You're getting some weather too, huh? Yeah, that's what's happening out here on this eastern part of the North America. So guess what the psalm is today? Oh my gosh. Yesterday, the psalm, we talked about the courts, the courts of man, the courts of righteousness, and what that looks like. Today, Oh my goodness. The psalm today is like, oh wow. Righteousness has chosen you. You have been chosen to do good. You have been chosen to deeply unpack your flaws, not take them and give them to someone, but to unpack them yourself and put them where they need to be put, not in someone else's face or someone else's place. So, because you're chosen to do good, you've been called. Each one of you have been called for a purpose, and that purpose is expressed in your unique way. So when I looked at the psalm today, Psalm 132. So for those of you who have your scriptures out, I just got an alert on my phone for the verse of the day. And you know I have a song for that, the verse of the day. I have a song for that, the verse of the day. Yeah, here it goes. Verse of the day. Verse of the day. Verse of the day. Verse of the day. Oh. So the verse of the day just came in on my phone. So because it just came in, I want to start with that. Psalm 132, and the whole theme today is, do you know that you're chosen for goodness? Do you know that you're chosen, Brett Denistani? Do you know, those of you who are watching, those of you who are commenting, those of you who are liking this video, do you know that you have been chosen for goodness? To be merciful, forgiving, compassionate, and all of that. Do you know you've been chosen for that? Let's find out and unpack this verse, because the Psalm 132 talks about that. Let's see if the verse today is talking about that, because I don't coordinate this ahead of time. The verse of the day pops up, the psalm pops up, and it's not supposed to be aligning, but it oftentimes does. It aligns. So the verse today is coming from Matthew, and let me get my little light. I have a little light here. So Matthew chapter 5, verse 43 to 45. This is Matthew. This is the book of Matthew. Matthew is known as, the Gospels of the Bible, and their evidentiary writings of, Jesus. So in Matthew chapter 5, verse 43, it speaks of, you have heard that it was said, quote, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. However, the hot tea is so good in the rise to get you going. However, I tell you, love is the key. Love your enemies and communicate with righteousness on behalf of ones that persecute you, oppress you, take from you, betray you, lie, steal, murder, kill, whatever that's nefarious. You have to commune with righteousness on those folks' behalf. So that's what I have to do, because I've been done some things that weren't nice. Sometimes people aren't nice to people who are been anointed, by the righteousness. They see it, either they're like, who you think you are, or they get like, and then they, or you have some people who are like, oh, bless you, I could see your kindness, and they look, birds of a feather flock together. So when someone goes that way with whoever, it's because they're like that person. You know what I mean? They're birds of a feather flock together. People that stay together for long periods are in alignment. People who stay with someone 5 years and they're gone, is just, it's a season for everything. So in Matthew chapter 5, it speaks of we do not hate those that persecute, right? Sometimes it's easy. I started off the psalm saying that our humanness kind of gets in the way, right? So, but we're not to do that. We're not to hate our enemies. We're not to do that. We're to love and we're to commune with righteousness on behalf of those that persecute, and that I and I may be children of righteousness. That's what we're children of. We're children of the goodness. We're children. That's who we are first. You may identify with yourself as black, white, gay, lesbian, straight, Dominican, Puerto Rican. You may identify yourself as, American or, Palestinian. You may identify yourself in whatever way. However, ultimately, you are children of righteousness, children of goodness, not children of the corn or children of the devil. You are children of a goodness and a righteousness that pulminates, that just it pulverizes all wrongness. It goes away. And anything that comes your way now, righteousness like clicks it all out and off. And that's what I have learned to do, because I have a lot of stuff that I'm doing and a lot that I have been given. So much is expected. Okay. So I don't have time to wallow in the pity of whatever persecution has been happening to me, or my credit. I have to commune with righteousness on behalf of those that persecute and take and oppress, because that makes me even more a child of the righteousness. And that's the goal here in Chant A Psalm A Day, is to build your relationship with that is righteousness higher than yourself, whatever you may call that. Some call God, some say Jah, some say Elijah, some say Emmanuel. That's the business. Do your business. Like I told someone, be about your business so you won't be in other people's and you won't get frazzled. You're in your business. So be children of that righteousness because you were chosen. And we return right to that theme of you were chosen. Thank you for joining Chant A Psalm A Day. Happy Saturday, everybody. This is the 8th day. We are the children of the 8th day. 8th day. The 8th day is a powerful day. The 7th is a powerful day too. But the 8th day is amazingly powerful. And it's the Saturday. Some look at this as a Sabbath where you rest and you rejuvenate. Some people look at Sunday as the Sabbath where you rest and you rejuvenate. Some people look at Tuesday as the Sabbath where you rest and rejuvenate. So it's all about individuals' ability to be free, to have that free will. Our society, unfortunately, wants those free wills to be, the overseer got to be in it, right? Wow, Brett, you have a friend from Ghana? I have family in Ghana, and I really honestly believe that we are all related. We're all related. And within that relation, we share a commonality. And that commonality is from the humanity that we have. We have a humanity. We share that humanity. But society has divided us and created false constructs of race, of gender, all of these constructs. And that's why people are bursting out new constructs, new identities. And, I'm not black, I'm, Puerto Rican, or I'm not black, I'm, Mexican. I'm not black, I'm, Indian, you know. So we're trying to come away from, who we are in terms of identity. And Calhoun, blessed rise to you, my friend. I'm sorry that your lady moved out today. Um, you sad to say I miss the dog more than her. Oh, what kind of dog? Oh, what kind of dog was it? I hope it wasn't a Rottweiler. Anyway, thank you for joining Chant A Psalm A Day, Calhoun. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Mwah. And thank you for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. And thank you for tuning in and not tuning out. So that was our verse today. And Calhoun came just in time because we're moving now to, I want to see what the word of the day is. Y'all want to see what the word of the day and what it's brought to us today by? What is the word of the day? I wonder what the word of the day is. I'm going to have to play that song. The word of the day.
It's the word of the day. It's the word of the day. It's the word of the day. It's the word of the day. Word of the day. Word of the day.
That is so the word of the day today. Let's get to that, shall we? Oh my gosh. You want to guess what the word of the day is, Calhoun? Give me a guess while I drink my tea and you listen to that little tune again. Isn't that nice?
It's the word of the day. 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 Word of the day. Word of the day.
Well, I'm going to tell you what the word of the day is. It is grace. You like the song? Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, thank you. Well, the word today is grace. Grace. And the word grace to me means God. It's God to me. Grace. Righteousness, mercy, compassion, kindness, forgiveness, long suffering. All of that to me is the Most High Almighty. I love it. It just warms my heart. The word is grace, y'all. And I love that. It's brought to us today by a psalm too. Psalm 45, verse 2. Grace is poured upon your lips. Therefore, righteousness has blessed you for all time to come. Isn't that beautiful? That is, the word of the day is brought to us today by that. How can that be better than that? What can be better than that? Psalm 45, verse 2. Boom, right off the bat. Grace is poured upon your lips. So when you speak, that's what you speak because you are the embodiment of grace. Grace is beautiful. What is your definition of the word grace? Brett is asking all of us. How do you define grace? Thank you, Brett. You need to be on here tomorrow again. But thank you, Brett. What is your definition of the word grace? I want to know that as we listen to my little song again. Okay? What is your definition of grace?
It's the word of the day.
Grace.
It's the word of the day.
Grace.
It's the word of the day. It's the word of the day. Word of the day. Word of the day.
I need a tune with that, y'all, right? So this is what the word of the day. I ask that the words of my mouth, that grace is on my lips. I ask that my meditation of my heart, what's in my heart, what's in my mind is acceptable to what is grace, what is kind, an absolute graceful song. Thank you, Calhoun. You got a boom like for that. Hey. So, how wonderful the feeling to receive the gift of grace, of God's grace, of the grace of righteousness, in other words. How wonderful feeling it is to receive that, to be spared a awful outcome or to receive an unexpected bless. Oh my gosh. So when you're spared from a bad outcome, you've been spared, right? Or you receive an unexpected bless. That's how the definition of grace is. And that's what it looks like. When grace enters the life, your life, I and I life, there's a feeling, a new feeling of closeness to righteousness, to that merciful Almighty One, and abundantly blessed. You feel that. You feel blessed. And you receive it because of this word grace that you give to people. You're going to get what you give. Every man is going to reap what they sow. What are you sowing? Are you sowing good seeds in your good soil? Or are you a tree planted by the rivers of water that bear fruit in good time all the time? Brett. Thank you, Brett. Grace, courteous, goodwill. Courteous, courting. When you're courting someone, you're being kind, you're, getting to know them. That's grace. You're being graceful. You're pouring out the carpet of grace and they're walking on it. So grace comes into the world through the words and actions of people just like you, just like me. I and I give the gift of grace when I and I let the small things go. When I forgive easily. And when I offer strength without being asked. I didn't ask someone and they just gave me. I'm like, what? Thank you. What? Oh my gosh. I endeavor to be the hands and heart of righteousness in this world of wrongness by offering grace whenever and however I can. When my son goes off with me being rude and disrespect, I offer grace. I offer grace. When a person I knew, betrayed and I offer grace. Grace and sharing that is a righteous practice. It's a practice that we need to perfect. Therefore, we need to do it. Because practice makes what? Perfect. So practicing that righteous grace is a way to live the truth that you know. The truth that you know. The truth that you know. And that grace, sharing that grace that comes from above, fills the inside of you. Remember, I always talk about you are the good soil. You have to plant into your good soil different attributes of God. And one of them is grace. And that's what God ultimately is. Grace. So sharing that should fill your heart with gladness and keep that awareness centered on that righteousness. Whenever you get geared off into something else, right? That's the distraction. Distractions are all over the world. And when that happens, you may get upset. Your team may lose. That may happen, whatever, because you're so deep in it. You gotta be aware and centered on that righteousness always. People are distracted now. Probably not any one of you out there with the Super Bowl, right? The big football culmination. After that, then there's what, basketball, whatever, they keep going. And it's to me the biggest distraction. So they put halftime shows to get people to watch. It's a distraction to get you off of your center with righteousness. And that righteousness of the Most High is, it doesn't cost anything to be good and gracious and to be kind to your body and eat healthy. Yes, the food out here is cost a lot to be healthy. When you get food out here that's vegan food, it's expensive. And you shouldn't be dependent on that. You should just grow your own food. What call could have been from the Lord, Brett? Please explain yourself. So, being centered on that righteousness is the source of all love and grace. And when you are off-centered, this love and grace is going to be hard to come by. So, that is our word of the day, y'all. And it's brought to us, like I said, by Matthew chapter 45 of the Psalm, verse 2.
It's the word.
That was the word of the day. Grace. How you gonna be gracious?
It's the word of the day. It's the word of the day. It's the word of the day.
What?
Word of the day.
What?
Word of the day.
Word of the day, y'all. Thank you so much for joining Chant A Psalm and listen to the word of the day. Oh my gosh. How are you going to exemplify this word of the day as being chosen? You've been chosen. Remember, that's a theme now. We're sticking on that theme. The theme is we have been chosen to do good. How are you going to do that? How are you going to show grace? How are you going to show mercy? How are you going to show kindness? How are you going to show truth? How are you going to show love? How you going to show forgiveness? How you going to show long suffering? Right? How you going to show humility? How you going to show integrity? How you going to show honesty? How you going to show life? Oh, my phone ring. Yeah, that's not my phone. That's not my phone, sweetie. No. It is my phone. It's coming from my phone, but it's alerts. Alerts are coming from my phone. Alerts telling me, you know what? You need to get to the Psalm because you haven't talked about the Psalm yet. And I'm like, that's where we're heading to. We're heading to the Psalm. But we had to look at the word today. We had to look at the verse today. Now we're going to look at the Psalm today. And I don't have a song for Chant A Psalm A Day because I left that up to Steel Pulse. Oh, my boy. Steel Pulse has got that song. Thank you, Brett. That is so kind of you that you can see inside my heart. Okay, thank you. That's really kind. So we're going to go into the Psalm today. And Steel Pulse. Steel Pulse's song Chant A Psalm A Day is on their True Democracy album. So if you listen to Steel Pulse, if you have their album, I don't know if you can even buy their album anymore, but you probably could. It's True Democracy 2019. Steel Pulse created this YouTube channel. So you can subscribe to their channel. It's Steel Pulse. And you can subscribe to the channel. Wait a minute, let's see. So yeah, we're gonna get our psalm going. So, chant a psalm a day. You ready for the psalm? Hey, we're seeking the have never been told. We're translating into righteousness. We're going to get the enemy behind, get behind, and we're going to what? Yeah. What? What we going to do? Yeah, what we going to do? What we need to do? What we gonna do? What we gonna do? Every day? All day. So that's my intro to the psalm. It's Steel Pulse. Okay. Steel Pulse. I will meet you one day. I'm going to meet you one day, my brethrens. Okay. So the psalm today, as I mentioned, is 132. And 132 is a song of ascents. Ascents. Okay. It's a song of ascents. And it's a song about the chosen. As I said, and I mentioned that today's theme is about being chosen. You have been chosen to Surah Dochna, means do good in Amharic. Sota Mesgana means give thanks in Amharic. So we have to know that we have the ability to do good as well as to give thanks. And those are actions. How that is looking for you may be different from how it looks for me. So that's why we have a commonality of being chosen in the favor of righteousness. And staying in that favor allows for that outcome in your life to be tranquility of mind. Tranquility of mind. So I ask that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of what is righteous, what is good, kind, mercy, love, and most importantly, what is truth. So righteousness has chosen I, has chosen righteousness. Righteousness chooses righteousness, right? Wrongness chooses wrongness. Birds of a feather gonna flock together. So when you are left out of something, it's not because you're left out, it's because you've been chosen for something else. And that being chosen for something else may be hard road and mountain to climb, but remembering that you are what? What Matthew talks about in chapter 5, Matthew chapter 5, verse 43 to 45, that you are what? Children of righteousness. Children of righteousness that's up from above. Okay? Not this fake stuff we got going on here in the world. People, talk about love and it's something else. And then we have all these love languages. Your love language is different, and this one's it's love. Okay, love is bottom line respect and honesty and long suffering and patience. So remember righteousness in David's favor. Okay, if you know the story of David and Solomon, Menelik, Queen of Sheba, Haile Selassie I. If you know the story and the lineage of that, you'll know what the hardships that David endured. So in verse 1, it talks, remember in David's favor, O Lord, all the hardships David endured, how David swore to the Lord, to righteousness, and vowed to the mighty one of Jacob, the same one Jacob served. David is serving. Moses is serving that same one. Greetings of love and tranquility Great gratitude for the Most High daily. El Sue is in the room. Everyone, greet El Sue. Highly favored, wonderfully made, and so amazing to join us on this Saturday, the 8th day. We are the children of the 8th day, and to be in the room commenting with such wonderful word sounds. Bless you and your family and all that you do for yourself and for others. So, behold, we heard in Ephratah, we heard of this righteousness, this mighty one in Ephratah. Ephratah. And Ephratah is a place, an ancient place, right? It's a place, Ephratah. Even the word Ephratah is hard to pronounce for me. And something was found in the fields of Draha. So in verse 7, there's a quote. It speaks, "Let I go to the dwelling place of that one. Let I worship at that one's footstool." Check it out! Exclamation mark. So it's really powerful how, thank you for liking this video, by the way. That is amazing for you all to like this video. You don't have to do that, but you did, and that's kind. That's grace. That's mercy. Thank you. So verse 7 is like they're huddled together, because in verse 6 is like, behold, they heard of this mighty one in Ephratah, and they found it in the fields of Jaha. And it's spoken, ones are speaking, let I go to the dwelling place, and let I worship at the footstool of that mighty righteousness. And in verse 8, it just kicks it off like, arise, righteousness, and go to the resting place. And the ark of your might, it speaks of the ark, that mighty ark, that you are that ark. You are the ark of the covenant. You hold the key to reality. You hold the key. So arise, O righteousness, and go to the resting place, because I is the ark of the mighty one. They say the mighty one of Israel, but we know it's the mighty one of I, right? It's Israel too. It's all of I. Don't just single one nation out. So, in verse 9 it says, let the priests be clothed with righteousness, because some priests are not. They got some nefarious things going on in the church now, y'all. So let the priests be clothed with righteousness, and let the saints shout for joy. You're going to know the saints. Hallelujah. This is what they're chanting. They're shouting for joy, not shouting and putting people down and bringing up past whatever happened in 5, 10, 20 years ago. They're saints of joy. They're shouting joy. These are saints. The priests are clothed with righteousness. They got on this cloak of righteousness, because in verse 10 it says it's the reason why. It's for the sake of David, who served this righteousness. And even though David endured hardships, David swore that and vowed that, he is going to, I skipped a part there. He is going to find a place for that righteousness. He's not going to go to rest. He's not going to sleep. He's not going to, until he finds that place for righteousness. And they heard of this in Ephratah and the fields of Jar. And, so they're like, let's go and to that place. So in verse 8, 9, and 10, we see how the reason for the season for the righteousness of the servant David. I will not be turned away uh, uh, from the face of the anointed one. That anointedness that you receive, you have to receive it and know that you're good. And all the lies you've been told as a child that you're not good enough, or you can't read, or you get more F's in the F factory, all these lies that you've been told, you have to now return to the truth of who you are inside and not turn away from that righteousness that's within you, that's shining on you as you are anointed with favor. So in verse 11, righteousness made a vow and swore to David a sure oath. And that oath, that promise, that covenant, right? From where that one will not turn away from. That's that promise and that vow, and you're not going to turn away from doing good. And in verse 11, this righteousness made a vow to David and a sure oath, and spoke in this quote. It's a quote. Verse 11 going into 12 is a quote. This is a revelatory quote. One of the sons of David's lineage is going to be set on a throne. And when that son of David that came out of David's heritage, we have Solomon, David, Menelik, Queen of Sheba, Haile Selassie the first, when that one keeps the covenant, keeps that vow, that promise to do good, right? And the testimonies of those that endured hardships and kept doing good. Didn't lie and cheat, even though they were alone and, suffering, being lonely and without their mate. They didn't go find another mate. They stayed in that, or they were honest and said, bye, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? Being truthful. So these are testimonies that's going to be taught how to be honest with your relationship, how to be truthful, how to be anointed, how to be an anointed one of righteousness, of the Most High, of God, so that you can reap the benefits that's there for you. It's sitting on the table waiting. And people are refusing it because they refuse to be good. They refuse to be honest. They refuse to be truthful with themselves and with other people. And when they are dishonest and disloyal, they reap the outcome of that. So in keeping that covenant and the testimony that you've been taught, David has kept that. Selassie first has kept that. You see, Rastafarian brethren and sistren hold this covenant in the way they live their lives, because that son also forever shall sit on that throne of righteousness that swore to David a sure oath. So verse 11 and 12 of Psalm 132 reveals and is very relevant today in returning to knowing ourselves as anointed, as chosen. We have been chosen. And the people who are realizing that are the Rastafarians. They realize they've been chosen. So they eat the right way. So they have outcomes that are good. Their language, now some, I'm not talking about everybody. Everybody in every group there's something that's not, all have fallen short of the glory, right? That's where that comes. We're all not perfect to live in that perfection. We're striving for that. And Rastafarians strive for that in the way that, in their livity, how they live, how they eat, how they talk, how they sleep, how they have sex, how they have relationships, how they deal with people, society. Everything is about the livity of righteousness and that humanity of one love. Very good, Yester Morrow, sister of the brethren. El Stevens in the house. Let's greet El Steven with a kindness. Thank you for joining Chant A Psalm A Day again today as we talk about being chosen. So verse 13 all the way to 18, this is Psalm 132, is talking about that chosen and what is the outcome for that chosen once you know yourself as that. For righteousness has chosen you and has desired you for a dwelling place, for you to dwell with the righteousness. And in verse 14, it's a quote again of righteousness speaking. And righteousness speaks. For righteousness has chosen Zion. Blessed greetings, Stephen. How are you? Is this the same Steve from Bible Study with Shay? Who is Steve? Good day, Stephen. Okay. So, the righteousness has chosen you and has desired that righteousness for a place to dwell, right? And in the quote, it speaks, this is I and I resting place for all time to come in the righteousness. Here I will dwell in the righteousness, for I and I have desired the righteousness. I and I will abundantly bless the one's righteousness's provisions, right? I will satisfy the poor with bread once they choose and know they've been chosen for righteousness. Thank you so much. I don't have any I'm thank you. This is how I woke. This is how I wake up. Thank you, Stephen, so much for joining Chant A Psalm and for liking the video, for subscribing to the channel, and being kind in your comments. Thank you. Mwah. So this quote, you got to listen to it here, because righteousness is speaking about satisfying ones with bread, and bread being, food, nourishment. Because in verse 16, the priests that are clothed with righteousness is going to be clothed with the future salvation. Okay. The righteousness's priest is going to be clothed with salvation, and the saints will shout for joy. There I'm going to make a horn to sprout for David. What is that horn? If you look at the shape of Ethiopia, it's a horn. They call it the Horn of Africa. So, I didn't make that word up. So that horn is going to sprout for David, and there's a preparation of a lamp for the anointed. You are the lamp. You are that fire. And the enemies of the anointed are going to be clothed with shame. They're going to be shamed for what they have done to God's anointed ones. They're going to be shamed. They're going to be clothed with shame. However, that one is going to have a crown that's going to shine. And if you look at the picture of Haile Selassie I, he has a triple crown. 1, 2, 3. It's the Trinity crown, it's that crown. And this Psalm 132 from verse 13 to 18 really is evidentiary of this one that has been chosen and has been sprouted up from the shackles of, enslavement. And that anointed has a prepared lamp, a lamp that's been prepared. And a lamp is a light that shines. And so is the crown of that one that shines. So I give thanks for this psalm today. Blessed thanks. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Selah and Selah again for that. And my rap is slowly sliding off. So that is the psalm today, and we are under an hour. Oh my goodness, I'm getting better with my timing. We are under an hour. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining Chant A Psalm A Day and for listening to the translated version of this psalm, because it just gives meaning to what we need to do, who we are, the fact that we've been chosen to do good and some choose not to. And, when those choose not to, we have to, commune with righteousness on their behalf, according to the word today, grace. We have to give them grace. Thank you for liking this video. 7 of you. Amazing. Yes, have a blessed day, everybody. Remember, stand in love. Don't fall in it. Stand in love means standing for what is right before your own feelings. That's what standing in love means. So we're going to stand in it, y'all. We're not going to fall. We're going to stand. So we can be stronger together. We are stronger together. Yes, we are. Have a blessed day. Take good care. I'll see you next time for Chant A Psalm A Day. Remember what? Stand in love. Don't fall in it. Take good care.